work with people, I'm just trying to get a vision of clarity for our listeners. So when you go and work with somebody, they're thinking, I don't know what they're thinking, but let's just say someone comes up to you and is like, listen, I'd like you to get me some more PR. I'm assuming you would sit down with them and have some type of discovery call or a session. Walk us through what that would look like. Like how, okay, so I wanted to get some more PR. I heard you on the show. How would they do that? Or what would you do? What would you do?
Yeah, of course. Well, firstly, I have a PR powwow with everybody because it's really important for me that I connect with the person who wants to work with me and vice versa, because I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And likewise, I work off energy. So if I'm not getting the energy I need from the potential client, then it's off. So anyway, we have a call and it goes brilliantly. They decide they want to work with me. So the next thing I do then is we have what I call a delve deeper day. Okay. Now at the minute, because of coronavirus, it isn't an in-person event, but I can deliver it all over Zoom. That's not a problem. Okay. And this is where I kind of delve deeper into who you are, why you set up what you did, what you do, and figuring out how long you've been in business, what your hopes, dreams, and aspirations are. Okay. And then we look at your ideal client. Okay. Because it's these people, it's the people who you serve. That's like the golden ticket. So we need to get to those people. Okay. And then that's how I kind of weave in the public relations, because if we know who you need to help, it's then a case of figuring out where they're hanging out. Okay. And then you would facilitate that. Sure. Or I kind of coach people in how to do that themselves. Okay. Because I'm all about empowering people and really kind of boosting their confidence to be able to do it themselves. Okay. Because, I've been doing this for 15 years. I know what I'm doing, but it's not a ridiculously difficult science. So what I do is I coach people and I take them along the different steps that I've been taking for the last 15 years to get clients in the press. So, it's all about that ideal client. Where are they? If they're listening to podcasts, brilliant. Right. Now it's figuring out which podcast do they listen to. Right. So one of the techniques I teach is to utilize Facebook. Okay. Because with like 6 or 8 billion people on Facebook, your ideal client's going to be hanging out there. One way or another. That's exactly right. Or another. So it's a case of, and this is what I do for me personally, for my own kind of business as well as clients, is finding the Facebook groups that are providing a solution to a similar ideal client. So a lot of groups I'm in on Facebook are to do with female entrepreneurs, because that's who I help. And then it's a case of focusing on 2 or 3 of those groups and interacting and engaging with existing content, and then starting to have a conversation by posting about what you do too. So then we're kind of connecting to a different audience, we're building engagement, we're getting the connection, and that's when we start to kind of invite people to experience what we offer. Gotcha. That is really interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that with the podcast and the Facebook group. Where I thought you were going to go with that, and I'm going to go with this myself, which is fine. Where I thought you were going to go with that was find the groups, then connect with the, like for me, I have my own podcast, find the group, connect with some of the people in there, see if they want to do interviews, and maybe vice versa, and use that as a way to be able to move forward. But I also like, if you didn't have a podcast, then you say, all right, well, find people in the group. Then what you also, I thought you were going to say was find people in the group, talk to maybe the guy and say, hey, listen, I'm looking to get on to other podcasts. You know what I mean? But I never would have thought about that. That is really interesting. Okay, let me ask one more question, then we'll wrap up, and then that'll be fine. What can be a step? What's a single step
that people can go through, some of our listeners can go right now? So they, there's different books out there. I don't know, maybe you have some resources, a website or something, but which is fine. Give us a first step. What's a good first step that these folks can take?
So a good first step, I would say, is, and again, this is where I use social media as a research tool. Go to Twitter.
Okay.
And have a look at your local newspaper.
Okay, and Twitter specifically.
I find in the UK, I find that Twitter works really well for this.
Fine.
It could be Instagram, it could be Facebook that works just as well.
Okay.
So search your local newspaper, and on the profile piece, it will probably list the journalists writing for the paper.
Okay.
You can then head on over to their profile, and that's where you'll see the stories that they've been writing about. They may even request information. And for me, that's a really quick way of getting some really fast feedback on whether or not you have a strong story.
Gotcha. So we're talking print now, by the way, for people listening.
Absolutely. So, local newspapers are there to serve their local community.
Right.
They're there to help you build your business. They're there to help connect you to other people around you.
Right.
Who are interested in what you're doing.
Right.
So the easiest way for people to A, dip their toe in the water when it comes to PR, B, commit to doing it without it feeling really scary, that you're not you're not pitching to like the New York Times or the Ellen
Washington
Show.
Post, LA Times. Yeah, I'm with you.
So it just kind of gives you that little confidence boost, and you'll know fairly soon if it's a story that they're interested in or not. And I just tweet the journalist.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And just
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead, Laura. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, a really simple tweet, just, hey, I've got a story that you might be interested in. What's the best email address to get you on?
Right. Okay.
So then the journalist will remember you when your email pops up in their inbox.
Right.
You've already told them that you have an interesting story.
Right.
So you're then more likely to get a response because they're expecting you.
Right. That's interesting. Funny story on PR. I read a book on it a while back, and it was talking about, PR. And this was when the internet was coming online, and they were like, blogs is a really good way to get out there too. We didn't even bring that up, but like blogs is a good way to get out there as well. So I read the book, and like all good books, they make it seem real easy, which is good. That's what you want, right? So I'm fired up. I did a script. I looked at my stuff, and I called this lady. It was for a national association, okay, of whatever. And I put the thing out. Hey, my name is Brian. Something like what you said. Blah, 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 blah. She's like, she emails me back. She says, yeah, that sounds good. Send us some information, your picture, and we'll see what we can do. Send it over. She skins it back and says, oh, Brian, I remember when you were over at the XYZ conference in '87 in California, and we'd love to have your stuff. Send it whenever you're ready. Like, no problem. Now, here's the thing. I was in high school in '87. I wasn't at the XYZ conference speaking. All right? I didn't say a word. I sent stuff over. And you know what the funny thing was? I was terrified to change the picture. It was this kind of dorky looking picture that I'd first used. I was terrified to change the picture. Like, I have better pictures, but I didn't want to change the picture. I didn't want the cat to get, I don't know. I never misrepresented myself. I just didn't correct her. You know what I mean? And I was like, I didn't want the cat out of the bag. So I was doing stuff. But yeah, sometimes you got to get lucky, in order to be good. So that's some good stuff. Well, Laura, it was awesome talking with you. Tell these guys maybe how they can get into contact with you, either on social, website, whatever the case may be.
Social media is probably the best way. For my sins, I tend to always be on.
Okay.
So Instagram, actually all of my social media pages, so Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, it's all at PR with Perkes, and that's spelled Perkes. Always open for connections on my personal Facebook page. Again, you can find me at Laura Perkes, and also LinkedIn at Laura Perkes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, as we've just said, that is Laura Perkes. My name is Brian Hilliard. Hopefully you guys got some really good stuff out of this and be able to move forward with it. Laura, thanks so much for your time, and you guys as well. You take care. Okay, that was good. Excellent job. Let me hit this.